we had the creature's voice made up of all the voices it's mimicking. So it mimics certain people in the house, but also we got a whole cast of people from all around the world speaking different languages. Sure. And we built that into the voice of the creature. So its voice is almost made up of all these screaming, tortured souls.
Rob, yo, man, every time now I walk by a dark room, I get this unnerving feeling that something is staring at me thanks to the Boogeyman. And look, this is one of those films that blew me away. It definitely felt more of like a haunted house movie than a creature feature, which I absolutely love. But the first question I have for you is, can you talk to me about the collaboration process working with Stephen King's short story and expanding that?
So I came on board, I did this movie Host, and I got offered this right off the bat of that. And there was already a script that existed by Beck and Woods, who did A Quiet Place. And I developed it off in a very different direction, but they'd laid this great foundation and had come up with a really cool idea of like how to expand the short story, which is basically just two people in a therapy session talking for 8 pages. They came up with the genius idea of having that be like the inciting incident for a big movie, bigger movie. That this character comes in and then almost like infects this family with a demonic presence, and that becomes our story. And then from there, it was me and Mark Heyman, who I worked with on the script. We were just trying to like build it out, but make sure it felt true to the short story, and mostly true to King. Like it felt like it could sit, on the shelf with the rest of the Stephen King adaptations.
Did Stephen King provide any notes on any of your scripts?
Yeah, a couple. He was very kind of hands off. He wanted it, he knew that we were kind of building this out into our own thing, and he wanted us to feel free to do that. He gave some great notes. He really loved the script, and he was always kind of shouting out about the movie as we went into production, and yeah, he gave a couple of notes on the edit, but he loved it when we showed it to him, and everyone breathed a big sigh of relief.
You created a whole lore Bible for the Boogeyman. What's a piece of the lore Bible that audiences may not have picked up on, but impacted your approach as a director?
So we kind of had this idea that the creature, like you say, like a haunted house movie, we went by insidious rules, that this creature wasn't a physical thing that's bound to the house, that wherever there's darkness, this thing can manifest. That even though it's a creature ultimately and it's flesh and blood, it can manifest through darkness. It can kind of materialize like something spiritual. So, it means that when Sophie goes to Rita's house to try and get information, the creature can follow her wherever she goes.
What's something from that lore Bible that would surprise audiences?
We kind of had this idea of the creature of being almost like Freddy Krueger, that kind of collects the souls of the people, the souls that it's reaped. And so we had the creature's voice made up of all the voices it's mimicking. So it mimics certain people in the house, but also we got a whole cast of people from all around the world speaking different languages. Sure. And we built that into the voice of the creature. So its voice is almost made up of all these screaming, tortured souls.
David Dastmalchian, he plays the person that goes to see the therapist to talk about this. That's from the short story. Can you talk to me about his role in this compared to what the short story original version of that character was?
It's different, but I think it kind of shares the same DNA. It's like both of us wanted this character to be much less abrasive and odious than in the short story. In the short story, he's very aggressive. He's a very certain kind of person. And we wanted our Lester Billing to be, we wanted him to be more empathetic. We wanted him to be someone that the audience wanted to invest in, but also felt like he could switch like that at any moment. And David's so great at playing that. He can play that vulnerability, and then you just see it, the tiniest little change in his eyes, and suddenly it's like, oh, this guy's going to kill me.
Right.
He plays that scene so beautifully.
Talk to me about the actual design of the Boogeyman, because I'm not going to lie. When we do see it, it is fucking terrifying. So can you talk to me about what went into the design and how you came up with that concept?
Yeah. Well, the brief that I gave to the designers is like, the Boogeyman is just the name that we call this as kids. Yeah. This isn't the Boogeyman. Don't think of it like this. This is an ancient evil that's been around as long as there's been darkness. This thing, you've got to imagine it stalking cavemen as they gather around their fire, existing out in the darkness. It's an ancient primordial thing, and we wanted it to feel weathered, and its skin was like tan leather, and it had to feel like something bigger than just the Boogeyman.
Right.
So we took took a long time to get that design right. I don't think we locked it until maybe a week before we started shooting. So it's really down to the wire.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, I get the sense that you obviously have a great backstory for this character, but I get the sense that you kind of have you could tell this backstory later on down the line, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, we got into a lot of backstory, me and David, about where Lester had come from, what he wants from this interaction, and we meet him. He's almost in the third act of his own horror movie. Yeah. He's ready to face this thing down. But there's a whole horror movie that exists before the credits roll that lead him there.
Now, your cast is phenomenal in this. Can you talk to me about what they brought to their performance that maybe surprised you with what they did when you guys got in front of cameras?
They all brought so much of themselves, which is the thing that I'm grateful for. I mean, Chris especially really loves to play around with lines, and they're all so kind of collaborative. We had the script, and we would shoot a couple of takes of the script as written, and then it'd be like, well, let's play around. Right. Let's go off script. Let's improvise. And there's an element of humor in this movie that was there in the script, but it's only accentuated through just how funny Vivian is. Some of those lines that get people every single time in the movie, she came up with on the day, or
really?
we workshopped it together. Sophie, the amazing thing about Sophie is that, and I didn't realize this until we were shooting, is just how much she carries this movie on her shoulders. She's in almost every single shot of this movie, and just operates at this like level of intensity that I know was exhausting. And she was there every day, and I felt like we were kind of truly building the movie together with it on both of our shoulders.
It's incredible. Well, you guys did an incredible job. The movie's fantastic. And like I said, every time I walk towards a dark room, I get this eerie feeling thanks to you. But great job on the film. It's fantastic. Thank you so much, Rob. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
That was a very chill reaction.
What was I going to do, right?